I thought I was guiding my 16-year-old through first love, until I discovered her English teacher using my credit card to book a motel, and realized I was up against a calculated predator. When my daughter started coming home late, flushed, and secretive, I checked our synced iPad and found her in a motel room with Mr. Dalton. Instead of charging in blind, I teamed up discreetly with the school counselor, recording conversations, tracking attendance gaps, and gathering every text and photo he'd tried to hide. By confronting him during class, foiling his escape at the Bayview Motel with the police, and guiding my daughter through counseling and court, I not only stopped him in his tracks, but helped her reclaim her sense of safety and trust. My daughter's 56-year-old teacher used my credit card to book a motel for them. When I knocked on the door confronting them, he told me, "She wants me." Yeah, buddy, so does the police. My daughter was every father's dream. Up until age 16, she had no interest in dating, never even a crush on those boy bands, Big Time Rush or One Direction. Honestly, most men are so horrible that I would have been more than happy for her to move in with her girl best friend and maybe a few cats. But then came the day every parent dreads. She came home looking zoned out, but not in a teenage depression sort of way. Her cheeks were flushed, and there was a spark in her eye. My paternal instinct kicked into overdrive. I knew it was a boy, but if I mentioned it, she would go into full teenage mode and ignore me. So I pretended not to notice. Day after day, she made it more obvious. 10 times more effort into her outfits, more money on makeup, constant smiling at her phone. And I, ever the supportive dad, thought, I'm glad she wants me in her life. Finally, she asked for advice. Hey, Dad, how do you know if a boy likes you? Honey, most men are idiots. They can't hide their emotions. If you're unsure, take that as your sign he doesn't. I'm not unsure, she pouted, typical teenage eye roll. I sighed and stayed silent. A few minutes later, she was smiling again. Over the next few days, things progressed. She came home at 6 instead of 4, with no excuse. I waited for her to tell me, but then she arrived with a purple mark on her neck and wearing a skirt. That wouldn't pass school dress code. She looked at the ground. Who is this boy you're seeing? I don't want to talk about it, she said. I pressed on. She continued reluctantly. Dad, he treats me well. Buys me nice things, makes me feel special. He isn't married. I mean, in a relationship. I raised an eyebrow. Married? What the? She went super red and bolted into her bedroom, slamming the door. Something wasn't right. 16-year-old. Boys are broke. Plus, my daughter never slips up in conversation. I had a terrible gut feeling. I strode to the family iPad. Years ago, I'd synced its camera roll to my daughter's, never telling her. Usually, it was just Instagram screenshots or flower crown selfies. This time, I saw her and her boyfriend, on his lap in a hotel room. My heart pounded as I recognized his face. Mr. Dalton, her English teacher. It all made sense. His constant praise, that odd attention at parent-teacher conferences, the gifts. Everyone had been talking about buying him a retirement gift in the parent group chat. Bile rose in my throat. I wanted to beat his brains in, but I knew I needed my daughter's trust. So I walked to her bedroom and knocked. Come in, she said softly. I sat on the other side of the bed. Sweetheart, I just want you to know. I support you no matter what. I hope you and your boyfriend are happy, and please tell him I wish him all the best. Her face lit up. Thank you, Dad. You're the best. She hugged me. As soon as I left, I nearly collapsed. I was disgusted, but I knew it was necessary. The next day, Mr. Dalton texted me. Good afternoon, sir. Just wanted to let you know. Ava has been performing brilliantly in class this week, and I wanted to send you my utmost respect for how you raised her. We texted back and forth, and I admit I invited him to dinner. He agreed, not knowing it would be his last meal. I suggested Morello's, an upscale Italian downtown, but realized I needed help. I couldn't handle this alone. The school counselor, Melissa Winters, impressed me with her firm professionalism. I arranged a meeting. Her office was cozy, full of plants and mental health posters. Mark, come in, she said, closing the door. What's going on? I placed my phone on her desk. Listen to this, I said, playing my recording of Ava and Dalton's conversation, then our text exchange. For 45 minutes, she sat pale and still. When it ended, she whispered, "How long has this been happening?" "A few months, maybe more," I answered. "You're right to be cautious. Men like Dalton are manipulative. We need to build evidence carefully. Protect Ava above all else." She drafted a list of discreet recording apps. "Keep the dinner, but record everything." That night, anxiety gnawed at me. Every giggle from Ava's phone, every creak in the house made me jump. 3 days later, new photos appeared on the synced camera roll. Ava alone in a hotel room, smiling at the camera, dressed too maturely. I downloaded them and added them to my file. Then came Melissa's text. "Need to talk. Found something." We met at a coffee shop. She slid me Ava's attendance records. Friday after-school periods missing, Dalton's planning time, and an old administrative email hinting at a similar incident 3 years ago handled quietly. I planted a tiny recorder in Ava's backpack pocket while she showered. The next day, our planned dinner, I called in sick and waited. When Ava got home, I feigned illness and canceled the dinner. Her relief was obvious. Later, I retrieved the recorder and downloaded the files. First, hallway chatter, then Dalton's, voice coaxing Ava. "You know I'd never hurt you, right? People wouldn't understand what we have. Your father sees what I want him to see. Now, did you finish that college essay? He mentioned Berkeley, close enough for us to see each other regularly." His grooming was undeniable. I texted Melissa. "Got audio, clear grooming evidence." That weekend, Ava grew secretive. Sunday night, I heard her crying through the door. Monday morning, a text from Melissa. "Principal's office, 4 p.m. Bring everything." My heart raced. I organized recordings, photos, attendance logs into a timeline, and headed to the school. Outside, I spotted Ava arguing with her lab partner, Skylar, who mentioned her cousin had similar trouble and wore the same bracelet Dalton gifted Ava. On Ava's wrist was that silver bracelet. My pulse spiked. I ducked behind a car, watching Ava disappear into Dalton's classroom. She was furious. Melissa arrived with Principal Harrison. Harrison's military bearing left no doubt. This was serious. He escorted Ava and Melissa to a private room, then asked me to wait. Moments later, 2 security guards led Dalton out, his confident mask cracking. In the counselor's office, Ava sobbed, alternating between calling me a traitor and admitting, "He loves me." I reminded her of Skylar's cousin and the pattern Melissa uncovered. Her confusion shifted to dawning horror. Harrison announced Dalton was on administrative leave. The board and legal team were notified. On the drive home, Ava was silent until she asked, "How did you know about the hotel?" I explained my credit card had been saved and he'd used it. She gasped, remembering the pizza order. I was so stupid. "No," I said. "He was manipulative. Predators are experts at gaining trust." That night, she asked to sleep in my room, like when she was little. I made a pallet on the floor. As I turned out the light, she whispered, "I don't hate you. Thank you." "You'll learn to trust yourself again," I said. "I'm right here." In the weeks that followed, 2 more former students came forward with matching stories and identical bracelets. Ava agreed to counseling, but initially refused to testify. The DA had enough evidence, recordings, the motel incident, the gun, to charge him without her testimony. They called me to discuss a plea deal. 10 years, parole after 7. We pushed for more. One afternoon, Melissa called. Skylar's cousin Jade wanted to talk to Ava. I was surprised when Ava agreed. At a coffee shop, Jade, now 19 with bright blue hair, confirmed Dalton's grooming pattern, promises of travel, isolation from family. Ava admitted, "He told me we'd go to Greece after graduation." I raced home in silence, imagining the damage that could have continued. That night, I found Ava under the oak tree in our yard, tears in her eyes. "I want to write my own statement," she said. I nodded. "It's brave." The day before court, she wrote for hours, describing how Dalton isolated her and made her doubt herself. When she read it to me, I choked up. "This is perfect," I said. "Just like you." At the hearing, Ava stood at the podium in her blue dress. Her voice trembled, then grew strong. You made me believe I was special, Mr. Dalton. But now I know you're just another predator who couldn't succeed with women your own age. The judge denied the plea deal. The DA was confident Dalton would face at least 20 years once the trial concluded. Life found a new rhythm. Ava transferred schools, joined the debate team, and researched colleges, now with a purpose beyond romance. One evening, she told me, I want to start an anonymous blog about warning signs. I smiled. I'd be proud to help. Before the trial, she asked. How did you know? I admitted I'd seen the hotel photos on the synced iPad. Instead of anger, she said, Thank you for not telling me sooner. I wouldn't have understood. At the preliminary hearing, Dalton pled. Guilty to all counts, 25 years, no parole for at least 20. Good, Ava said quietly. One late October night, she looked at the stars and murmured, I'll be okay. Not today, but eventually. I wrapped an arm around her. I'm here for all of it. A month later, she showed me her blog draft, beginning. I was 16 when I thought I fell in love with a predator. This is how my father saved me, and how I learned to save myself. I read it with tears in my eyes. She rolled her eyes and smiled. Nobody's perfect, Dad. I know, I replied. But you're pretty close. Sometimes love isn't enough to keep children safe, but love, vigilance, courage, and action might be.